If you haven't come to this video by way of the Novel Crafter Discord, the Paint by Numbers system is a library of chat prompts stored in your story Codex. Although the prompts were written for Novel Crafter, they can easily be modified for use with any chatbot. The PBN system is a system for organizing your story idea information, a system of prompts for planning your story and plot, a guide to co-writing with AI, a set of editing prompts to turn your first draft into a masterpiece you could sell. You can also import an existing story and use the AI to build out your codex. The PBN system also contains plot structure templates and templates for character and world building, and story writing references for you and the AI. The power of Novel Crafter when paired with chatbots is you can leverage AI to accelerate your story writing process from ideation to publication. After a few hours of running the PBN prompts and iterating on your initial story idea, you will have a plot outline, or zero draft, of a novel-length story. Then it's up to you to determine the extent you use AI to co-write your first draft. With a first draft in hand, you can then use the editing prompts of the PBN system to edit and revise multiple story drafts until you have a story that can be shared with the world. The Paint by Numbers systems comes as 2 Microsoft Word documents so that you can edit the prompts to fit your needs. The Word docs can be downloaded from my website at neuralsplice.com, and then click on the Resources menu. There's no registration process, and I don't ask for your email information. Much of the content in the PBN was created and shared by the Novel Crafter and AI writing community, most of which are listed in the references section of the guide. So the PBN will always be open source and public domain. The guide itself is a how-to guide for you on not only how to create a reusable novel template, but also a primer on crafting novel-length stories if you're new to writing, or like me, are transitioning from writing short fiction to long-form fiction. Because the process of creating the PBN novel template requires a lot of copying and pasting, I created the template document to import everything into Novel Crafter, so you only have one application to open. However, the formatting of the imported text is a bit rough, so many users prefer to copy and paste from the guide document. We're going to go over the process of turning this document, or the template document, into your story template, so that you end up with something like this with 249 Codex entries, so that when you want to create a new story, you click on Create Novel, use Template Novel, and then scroll down and select your story template, which will then bring in all your Codex entries. Most prompts you use in Novel Crafter are custom prompts, which you can use from just about anywhere within the application. Where the PBN differs is that it is a small subset of prompts that are stripped down to their bare minimum, with most of the instructions being placed in the chat prompts that make up the PBN. In order to import those prompts into the system, you'll want to copy the block of text and then go to Prompts, New, Create from Clipboard. And now what you get is all that encapsulated, encrypted text is turned into a list of models. And one thing you'll notice with my models is I put the size of the context, what it costs per million of input tokens, and what it costs per million output tokens. So if you're looking for inexpensive alternatives when you're running a prompt, you have choices. And then, as I said, the instructions are pretty much stripped down and primarily rely on using the chat prompts within the PBN. To start your novel template, we'll first create a novel that's empty. I like to use an underscore so that when you sort your novels by name, it shows up at the top. Call it template novel. And one of the first things we want to do is set up your custom categories. So you'll be in Codex, click on the little gear icon, go down to custom categories, new, and we'll start with 0 dash, and I use green. And then the story tag will be, or the tag will be story notes, and it will be part of others. And then to create a new one, click on the new button. That's light blue, and its tag is planning. It's also others. And then you'll just go through that entire process to get all of your custom categories in. And you won't see anything in the codex until you actually create a codex that belongs to one of those categories. Scroll down to the story notes. So these are all the things that are going to hold either as you refine your story idea, it'll hold that as you go through the process. It's going to hold the story elements like plot outline, subplots, character arcs. So we'll go new entry. It's going to be, and all of these will be other unless specified. And it's note -100 colon. And I do them all in caps so that they stand out, because a lot of them have names very similar to the Codex planning entries that create them. Go down to tags, and we will see story notes. And then I like to alias it. In the instructions, the guide, you will see everything fully spelled out. But I'm creating, prompts of my own in chat. I'm just doing note -100 because I already know what the name of it is. So we'll create an alias that's just note -100. And then this is where, once we create the information that goes in here, we'll copy and paste it in the description. But for now, we're done with that. And just one more time, we will create other -103 story idea, story notes. And you'll notice in custom categories, when we chose green, now everything that goes into story notes is automatically assigned the color green. One last. So that's, again, these will all be empty when you first create them. The planning prompts. Process, new, other. Or what am I doing? Lowercase. Because these are chat prompts. Use a planning tag. And although you don't usually call these in another chat prompt, but I still like to have a little alias. And then we will copy and paste. I generally, because I'm always experimenting with things, I will copy and paste this entire thing into notes, entire table. And I usually have to go in here and clean up some spaces, make it look pretty, beautify it. And then we'll copy the prompt. And that goes into details, so that when we're in chat mode, we can just hit the copy button and then put it into the prompt. Do one more. Subgenres, it does not have a hyphen in it. You don't necessarily need to copy all the stuff. Like I said, when I tend to tinker with mine a lot, so I like to have in notes the old version, and then in details whatever version I'm working on. Although there is a history mode that you can, scroll back and reload. It's always nice to have both versions available. So I see one thing here. I did something wrong. Oh, I got metadat instead of metadata. So yeah, when you spell the name of the things right, when it calls something out of the Codex, it will highlight it in the same color that you signed in a custom category. So that's where I saw Note 100 was green, but genres and metadata wasn't. So that gave me an indication I'd either typed something wrong here or something wrong in the name. So I was able to fix that. Let's go ahead and copy the prompt. Set the alias. And then one other thing you can do is tell it to don't automatically track this entry by name. Again, if you're not using it in a chat prompt, it'll never come up, but I always figure doesn't hurt to turn it off. So then you'll see the little note indicating that something in the description field, probably something in the notes field, and then the little slash to the eye icon to show that it's not visible to the AI for tracking purposes. There are two other Codex entries you'll want to create when you first set up your template. And if you go down to global entries here, you'll see style guide and story genre. So style guide comes up as Prose style guide, and you'll use this later to put in notes to the AI on how you write your style of writing, so that it knows how to kind of emulate it. So you need to put something into it so that it activates. One of the things that establishes or sets it as a universal is it has always include this entry in the AI context. So whatever you put in here will always be loaded into memory every time you run a chat prompt or a custom prompt, which is why the other one you want to create is story genre. As you develop your idea, you'll fill this out, so it'll be whatever the multiple genres and subgenres you have, and so that it has an idea of what kind of story you're writing. So that's just a real quick run through of how you create the Codex entries. You just need to do it 249 times so that you end up with, again, a template that is full of all your story notes, your planning prompts, writing, all your editing, templates, references, your universal character placeholders, universal location placeholders. You got some placeholders for subplots. Didn't mention AI-isms, and that's words that you'll notice whatever LLM you use tends to repeat these words and phrases a lot, so you put it in here and then tell it, don't do this. But just to prove that our very basic template novel works as a template, we'll go and create novel, use template. Template novel. Yeah, that should be fine. So as you see, yeah, here's my next big story, but it's got the Codex entries we've created. So now we can customize it to suit the needs of the story. If you have any questions, I highly recommend joining the Novel Crafter Discord. Thanks for watching and keep writing. Future readers are waiting for your stories.